Hello out there, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Please, allow me to start off by saying that as far back as I can remember, people have said one consistent thing about me. He's in his own world. And you know, they were right. And I'd love to welcome all of you to it. Welcome to my world. Welcome to the Wretched Theater. Enter at your own risk. Oh, welcome back. Come on in. Have a seat. Get comfortable. I'll tell you what we're going to do today. Today, in the Wretched Theater, I'm going to show you my babysitter. And I really think that you... No, it's not a corrections officer. Boy, you funny. My ribs are hurting over here. Yeah, sit down. Everybody's a comedian. Oh, where was I? Okay. And I think I got a pretty good funny story for you today. I'll tell you a couple of jokes. And I'll leave you with something to think about. But you'll be very happy to know that you're not going to have to hear any funny stories from this guy over here. Yeah, this guy's as funny as throwing darts at a hemophiliac. Corrections officer. Well, what do you say we get to it? Let's go.
Come on, show us some cool stuff, Tay! Ha ha ha!
Here it is. This is my babysitter. This is a 1966 Admiral Television, a.k.a. the Creature Features TV. Now, I suppose you're wondering why I call her my babysitter. Very simple. When I was a little kid, and I used to get on my mother's last nerve, which was, give or take, approximately all the time, she used to yell at me and she used to say, "Get outside or go watch TV." Well, if I didn't go outside, I'd plunk my butt right in front of this, and there I am. I'm with my babysitter. Okay, now my mother always knew when I was watching TV because I was quiet. She always knew when I was outside because it was only a matter of time before the neighbors formed a lynch mob with pitchforks and torches outside her front door. I mean, no, it wasn't that bad. It was close, but not that bad. But anyway, I suppose you wonder why I call it the Creature Features TV. Very simple. I watched every Bela Lugosi, every Boris Karloff movie on this that I could see. I watched The Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, Boris Karloff's Thriller, One Step Beyond. Anything scary. I used to love it. Oh, I used to scare the piss out of myself. But it was mostly Creature Features, Chiller Theater, stuff like that. Now, when I was a little kid, and I used to watch a show, and then I would turn it off, believe it or not, the screen would glow for about 20 minutes after you turned it off. And as a kid, I used to imagine that that was the TV absorbing and trapping the monster that I just saw on it. Now just think about all the decades that I've been watching this movie, this TV. Just think about all the monsters that are trapped in there. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, the Creature, Godzilla, Rodan, Monster Zero, Ghidra. Wow. There they are. Take a good look. Now, I want you to understand that I realize that technology has surpassed this by leaps and bounds. And I can truly appreciate that. I mean, I have beautiful flat screen TVs in my house. And I love them. They're beautiful. But I have to come in here at least a couple of times a week to watch this. And it transports me back to a much simpler time. A much simpler place. To a totally different world. And it just means a lot to me. Now, I've had people that have actually suggested to me that you need to get rid of this. Why are you keeping that? Just toss it already. Why am I keeping it? Well, for a couple of good reasons. Number one, I cannot see myself parting with such a great piece of horror history. The Creature Features TV. I mean, I need it just to remember where I was, who I was, and just a much simpler world. And number two, the most important reason of all is, I already told you how many monsters are trapped in there, right? Just think, if I was to put this TV on the curb, and the garbage man were to pick it up, put it in their truck, crush and crack it open, and all those monsters escaped, just think about Dracula going into the world, the Invisible Man, Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidra. If you think that Vladimir Putin is causing a lot of problems, just think about that for a second. No, I think that it'll be a much better, safer world if I was to keep it right where it is. I remember when my father first brought this to me, he gave this to me. He may have bought it at a garage sale, I'm not sure. But when he gave this to me and we put it in my room and I plugged it in and I turned it on, I was mesmerized. I had my own TV in my own room. Hey, did you ever notice that everybody has their own TV face? What do I mean? Come on, you know when you hook up with your family or with your friends and you'll watch a movie or maybe binge watch a series, and the next time you do that, go part way into the movie or the series and then just disengage and take a good look around. You will see everybody's TV face. Now, let me give you a perfect example. My sister's TV face is like this. My wife's TV face is like this. My brother-in-law's TV face is like this. My grandson's TV face is like this. Come on, man, you're missing the whole thing. No, I see it. But let us hope that when you do decide to do this, that when you do look around, that one of your friends' TV face is not with his finger in his nose. But then again, the upcoming graphic murder scene won't be so gross after seeing that. And then, you know what, someone stop me. I'm getting off the subject here. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about this. That's right. Anyway, that is my babysitter. A 1966 Admiral Television, a.k.a. the Creature Features TV. So, what do you say we watch it? I say that we do. And I'm going to put something on real scary. The New York News. Are you ready? Good. So,
which the governor says are designed to keep guns away from criminals. And we are following breaking news this afternoon. The stock market takes a massive dive, closing down nearly 4%. We'll have the closing numbers and a look at why this is all happening. And good afternoon to you all. Let's chat.
I'm David Navarro. We've got a lot to get to this afternoon, but we begin with the breaking news on Wall Street, where the markets just ended with another big sell-off. Stocks plummeting, giving back gains from yesterday's previous session after Quarterly reports from Target
I did tell you this was going to be scary, but
ongoing problems
the
with the supply
stock's
chain
plummeting.
and inflation. Here's a live look at the big board. You can see it is down over 1,100 points right now at 31,493. This is the fifth Dow decline of more than 800 points this year. And both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ also suffered losses.
We're going to turn now to the calls for justice for that 11-year-old girl who was shot and killed in the Bronx. Kiara Tay was hit in the stomach by a stray bullet. It happened in broad daylight.
Family, friends, community leaders came together today to pay tribute to the 11-year-old victim and to demand justice for her. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis live in the Longwood section of the Bronx with more. Marcus.
Well, David and Liz, police have cordoned off a section here where the family has basically been able to keep vigil all day long. And for the first time, we've heard from the victim's heartbroken father.
My firstborn, yo. My first. You're supposed to be 12 in December, man. She couldn't even make it, yo.
Well,
He couldn't hold back the tears. A father anguished by the murder of his daughter. 11-year-old Kiara Tay, whose death has sparked outrage.
Parents should not have to bury
a happy
their
show.
children.
I'm so sorry about this, but
are we living in when we are not
I can't
safe?
put a show on. I really wish I could.
Was struck by
I
a
would
stray
love to
bullet
put like the
fired
Big
in broad
Bang
daylight
Theory
by a
or
gunman riding on the
I
back
don't know,
of a scooter
Rhoda or
aiming
Mary
at someone
Tyler
running
Moore
down
on
the
or
street.
something, but
Kiara was hit in the stomach
I'm
and died
told
at
that I would
Lincoln
be shut
Hospital.
down if I did
Today,
that.
elected officials rallied
So
at the scene on
that's
Fox
why I
Street,
put the news
vowing
on.
that justice will be served.
Please forgive me for this.
To
I mean,
the
this is awful.
individuals,
This
and
is
I'm talking
terrible.
directly to the
But,
cowards that did this.
Anyway, let me
on
tell you
Monday,
something about
okay?
this.
Those who shot and killed
Unfortunately,
Kiara, I want you to know, as Bronx District Attorney, we coming for you.
Unfortunately,
Watching a photo of Kiara as a baby, her parents
this is
stopped
the
as
original
officials denounced the
antenna.
gun violence that has claimed 2 young
But
lives
it
this year in
doesn't
the same
accept-
neighborhood.
it
They
doesn't
urged
get
residents to come
analog
forward with
signaling.
information and are demanding change in
so
Albany.
in order for it to work the way it is,
revolving door
I had to
of
get
our
this
criminal
box.
justice system when
This
it comes
is
to carrying
a
guns in
digital
our
signal
streets.
converter box.
But the most powerful moment came after the final speaker. Kiara's father overcome
I'm
with
sure
grief.
everybody remembers TVs like this, see?
Not yet.
Unfortunately, this doesn't work anymore. But I mean, the channel changer does work. It just doesn't get...
Kiara's father's there as
signals.
family members gathering all
But,
afternoon long.
I mean,
Still,
if you notice, it is a
in
really
of
clear
shock
picture.
and grief.
I mean,
Coming
it's
up a little
black
bit
and
later,
white,
there will
but
be another rally scheduled
once
here
again,
by
a much
anti-gun
simpler
groups
time,
who are lobbying for more
much
funding to
simpler
give
world.
the youth in this area
And,
other opportunities, and we'll have more on that in another live report coming up at 5 o'clock. So now we're
amazing.
live in Longwood, Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness.
And if you'll notice,
Utterly
see,
heartbreaking.
you have to change the
Speaking
channel
of
with
gun
this.
violence, today Governor Hochul passed
probably a dozen years ago, and he is one of those bright
on a gun. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in Midtown this afternoon with the new restrictions. Darla.
Two new executive orders and sent a letter to the Attorney General. All of this is to target white supremacists and the tools used to commit to terrorism.
It's too easy for radicalized individuals to go out and acquire these weapons of war.
The gun law designed to keep an automatic rifle out of the hands of a
There it
buffalo
is.
shooter that essentially failed
That
are getting even
was my
tighter.
babysitter.
Extreme risk protection orders
Believe it or not, it
for
still
OPOs
works
will
perfectly.
now be mandatory.
I mean, a lot of
for state
people have
police.
asked me how and
Previously,
why.
current law,
Believe it or not,
it's an
when I got out of the
option to
Army,
do so.
I actually had this rebuilt.
And now it'll be required.
I didn't have it
Wednesday
repaired.
afternoon,
I had it
Governor Hochul
rebuilt.
rolled out plans to address
Because
loopholes in
it's
existing
my
gun laws
babysitter.
and signed an
How could
executive
I
order
part with
creating
something
units in the
this
Division
great?
of Homeland Security
Yeah, it's an
and
old
state
black and
police
white
to
TV.
identify and confront threats of domestic
Yeah, it
terrorism,
is an old black
which
and
will
white
include
TV.
a domestic
But
threat
when was the
level
last time you
assessment
saw it?
management program.
My
You
own
can't find
state
these anymore.
is going to lead in the surveillance.
There are people that
of
have
the
told me
social
that, you know,
media
oh, why don't you just
hate
get a
crime,
smart
hate
TV and
speech
put
that's
it
out
in there?
We must
Well,
take
first
the
off, you need to have a
tools
smart
out of the
brain
hands
to
of
have a smart
criminals,
TV.
out of the hands
And you may or may
of
not know
bigots
this about
and
me.
racist.
But
Also,
the
Wednesday,
left side of
Hochul
my
asked the
brain,
Attorney
there's nothing
General
right.
to
And the right side of my
investigate
brain, there's
specific
nothing
online
left.
platforms that
Oh!
were used to broadcast and amplify
Anyway.
the mass shooting specifically calling
I'm
out
not
the
going to
site's
part
Twitch,
with this.
which is
Even if
owned
it
by
stopped
Amazon,
working and
4chan,
there's no way you
8chan,
can get
and
parts for it
Discord.
anymore,
They often find
I
each
would
other
still keep it there.
because there's
Don't
algorithms
forget
that
all
are
the
out
monsters
there
that are trapped inside of it, too.
that elevate hateful, incendiary
Anyway,
speech.
Investigators say the
that
Buffalo
is
shooter
my
posted about his
babysitter,
plans on
the
the site
Creature
Discord
Features TV.
30 minutes
I
before
really
the attack.
hope that you
and
liked
2
it.
minutes of Sunday's
I
mass
hope
shooting
that you were
streamed
impressed with
live
it.
on Twitch before
I
the
hope
site took it down.
that it left an
worse than
indelible
in the
mark
time
on
of
you
the
as
Klan,
much as
when
it did
people
me.
on a live stream
And
doing
what do you
massacres.
say we move on to the next segment? Yeah, let's get to it.
Now, late
Thank you
this
so
afternoon, we did receive a response from Discord which says it will cooperate with the Attorney General's investigation.
The really rad bad dad joke.
Okay, so there's this truck driver that's bringing penguins to the zoo. On the way to the zoo, his truck breaks down. He's trying to do everything he can to fix this truck. He's got to get these penguins to the zoo. Well, while he's fixing the truck, another truck comes barreling down the road. He runs out there, he flags the truck down. He says, listen, I'm trying to get these penguins to the zoo. Could you please do me a favor? If I pay you $1,000, could you please bring these penguins to the zoo for me? And the guy thinks about it for a second and he says, well, I'm not really doing anything. Okay, I'll bring the penguins to the zoo. So they take all the penguins off his truck, load it on his truck. The guy gives him $1,000. He drives off towards the zoo. Anyway, the guy's trying to fix the truck, get it going. About 2 hours later, he sees the truck coming back with all the penguins on it. The guy goes out there, flags him down. He says, oh, I paid you $1,000 to bring these penguins to the zoo, right? Why didn't you? He said, I did bring the penguins to the zoo. I got money left over. Now we're going to the movies. I know, it was stupid. But if you think that was stupid, this one will knock it right out of the stupid park. Here you go. Okay. So this guy, he's unemployed. He's walking around. He decides to kill time by going to the zoo. He sees this big sign, now hiring. The right guy, good pay, room, board, benefits, everything. So the guy, he goes to see the head zookeeper. He said, I saw your sign. What are you hiring for? The zookeeper says, believe it or not, our gorilla died. And we can't find another one. So we want to hire somebody to dress up as the gorilla to bring the kids, the families, and the crowds in. Do you want the job? It's good pay. You live in a cage. That's your room. We'll feed you every day. And we have a doctor on staff. There's your benefits. So the guy thinks about it and he says, okay, I'm unemployed. I'll take the job. So they give him the gorilla suit. They bring him to the cage. He puts the gorilla suit on. Next day, all the kids, the families, the crowds are around to see the new gorilla. Well, he's hobbobbing around. He's scratching himself. And all the kids are excited. There's a tree inside the cage. Well, he climbs up the tree. All the kids are excited. They're laughing. He shimmies out on the branch. He starts swinging back and forth. All the kids are laughing. Well, there's no top on the cage. Well, the gorilla flies out of the cage. He lands flat on his back in the lion's cage. He looks up. He sees the lion on top of the rock. He starts freaking out, screaming, yelling, please, somebody help me. Please, somebody help me. I'm not a real gorilla. This is just a suit. Please, somebody help me. The lion's going to kill me. Well, the lion jumps off the rock, runs towards the gorilla. The gorilla's still screaming his head off, please, please, somebody help me. And then the lion runs up to the gorilla and he says, will you shut up before you get us both fired? That was a little bit better. Anyway, what do you say we move on to the next segment? Okay, here we go. Okay, once again, it's funny story time. And I think I got a pretty good one for you today. But before I tell you the story, I just want to show you something. I think you may be impressed with this. This is the very first press promotion ever done on Bela Lugosi. This is very unique and very rare. Just to prove a point of how rare it is, I actually showed this to Bela Lugosi's son. His name is Bela Lugosi Jr. And he actually took one step back and he said that he had never seen anything comparing his father to the great Lon Chaney. But with your own eyes, there it is. Now, my father gave this to me as a going away present when I went in the Army. And this is easily one of my most prized possessions. Easily. I don't know if you could see it or not, but if you read the bottom, there is a tag there that I never pulled off. It says lobbied 1931. And my father told me that this hung in an old movie theater. And I would really like to imagine that it was Grauman's Chinese Theater. You know what? For the sake of the record, that's where it was. Well, anyway, I just want to let you know that this is still in the original frame that my father gave it to me in. And I have to say that for the most part, this is pretty rare. Well, anyway, my funny story that I have for you today is something that happened to me a very long time ago. Not only did it leave an indelible mark on my life, it turned me into an incurable fan of the great Bela Lugosi. I mean, I am his biggest fan. Well, let me start off by saying I'm going to give you the foundation of the story. I come from an Italian family, born in the Bronx, New York. And I know you're thinking, really? With that accent, we thought you were born on the moon. Well, no, the Bronx, New York. Even though me and my sisters lived a good part of our lives in New Jersey, in fact, I had somebody once ask me if I spent all my life in New Jersey. And I said, no, my life is not over yet. Anyway, let me get back on subject. So, there's just my sisters. I have sisters, and there's me. I was the last born, which means that I'm the youngest, and I'm the only boy. Now, people have said to me, oh man, they must have tortured you. Nope. When my sisters got on my case, I didn't lift the toilet seat. I won every time. Well, believe me when I say, you're gonna find this very hard to believe. But when I was a little kid, I was always in trouble. I was always in trouble. I mean, you name it, I did it. I literally drove my mother crazy. A lot of times my sisters would get on my case, why do you do this? Why do you act like that? Why do you do that? Well, my father, I'm not going to question his devotion and his love for my sisters, his daughters, but I think that he was really happy and proud of the fact that he had a son. That's me. Now, I remember my mother used to complain to my father a lot about the things that I did, and he did get upset with me sometimes, but a lot of times he would say, he's a boy. That's things that boys do. Let him be a boy. So, that's the foundation of the story. Now, I used to have a ritual, and that was every Saturday morning, cartoons. Never failed, right? One Saturday morning, I'm watching cartoons, and I heard an announcement. Tonight on Creature Features, the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Huh? Wait a minute. I watched the Groovy Ghoulies on Channel 2, but I have the chance to see the real Dracula? I am so there. This is a mission. So, I go out to the kitchen and I see my oldest sister, who's 16 years older than me, by the way. And I said to her, you know, tonight the original Dracula's coming on. Can I watch it? She said, yeah, sure, you can watch whatever you want. I don't care. Well, this mission is on. We're launching. Well, then my mother got wind of it, and she said, no way, kiddo. You're not watching no Dracula in this house. Not only is the mission a bust, but we're aborting. That's it. Right? But then my father got wind of it. And he said, he's a boy. That's movies that boys watch. Let him be a boy. Okay. Don't toss those launch codes. This mission's back on. So I'm going to watch it. Well, I went into the living room with my oldest sister, and I watched the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi. And I have to say the truth. I was not afraid of Dracula. In fact, I was in awe of Bela Lugosi. I thought he was so cool. But what literally scared the piss out of me was his wives. They were so white and stiff, and the way that they would walk through the castle, oh, those women lived in my closet for years. I was petrified. Well, anyway, my sister had somewhere to go, so she left. Next thing you know, here's my mother. Come on, kiddo, turn the TV off, let's go. So I go into my room, and I'm petrified. I knew those women were in my closet. Well, I fell asleep, right? Well, I woke up, and I think that my closet was open a little bit. And I was so petrified. I knew those women were in there, and I knew that they were going to come out, and I knew that they were going to get me. Well, I shot out of my bed like a Scud missile, and I ran into my parents' room. Well, I laid on the floor next to their bed, so I was safe. Well, anyway, I fell asleep, and my father woke up in the middle of the night, I guess to use the bathroom. He trips over me. He slams into the wall. He's going ballistic. He's swinging. He's kicking. Get the hell out of here. I'm running for my life. I ran into my bed, and then I heard my parents arguing. And my father said, why the hell was he in here? And my mother said, you're the one that lets him watch horror movies. That's what happens. Well, anyway, to cut the story in half. Not only am I a huge Bela Lugosi fan today, but I've seen the movie Dracula hundreds of times. I own the movie. And those women were only in the movie for about 2 minutes. I don't know if you remember it or not. But they're only in the movie for like 2 minutes. And I just can't believe that that left such a psychotic effect on me. Right? Well, anyway, one year I'm at the Chiller Theater and I'm walking around talking to some dealers. And on the top shelf, there's a shirt on a hanger. And I looked at it and a chill went up my spine. I said, oh my God, those women lived in my closet for years. Right? Well, this is the shirt. And if you'll notice, there they are, in all their creepy, gory glory. And I mean, these women literally scared the piss out of me. Well, I told him, I said that I'll take this shirt in extra large. Guy said, nope, that's the only one I got. Well, I was going to pass it up because it was actually too big for me, right? Well, it was actually bigger on me at one time than it is now. And no, I'm not out of shape. I was never in shape, so there. But I bought it. And I walked around to every dealer and I said, I'll take, do you have this shirt in extra large? They said, no, we don't have that shirt at all. That's a great shirt. So anyway, this was the only one there. And yeah, that's it. I hope that you like it. I hope you like the press promotion of Bela Lugosi. And what do you say we move on to the next segment?
Oh! Now it's time for Terrible T's Warped Words of Wisdom. Oh!
Well, once again we've come to the end. And I'd really like to leave you with something to think about. Just like everybody else out there, my life has evolved into a big, jumbled, tangled up, hectic rush. So much so that I barely take even a few moments to analyze just how many great things are in my life. Just how much I have to be grateful for. And I don't do it as often as I should, but from time to time I do take stock in how great my life is, how much I have to be grateful for. Two of the most significant things that I have to be grateful for is, number one, I had a wonderful, amazing childhood. It was filled with superheroes, villains, and monsters. Number two, I had two wonderful, loving parents that allowed me to be a child. And to this day, I thank them for that. Now, my father was a great man. My father had a saying that when I was a child and I was a teenager, I really couldn't appreciate or understand exactly what it meant until I reached a certain point in my life. Once I reached that point, not only did I have a full understanding of it, but it was profound. So my words of wisdom for you today are, in this life, I don't have everything that I want, but I do have everything that I need. And thank God I never got everything that I deserve. Yep, that's what he said. Now you think about that for a minute, and while you're thinking about it, please allow me to thank you once again for stopping by. I am so grateful for your valuable time. And please, let's all do this again sometime real soon. And until then, I'm out. Thank you.